is, yes.
Okay, great.
Okay. So, I'll call the meeting of the Affordable Housing Trust to order. It's Thursday, May 2nd, 2019. It's 6:37. And we'll start with the agenda here. So, April 2nd minutes. Has everyone been able to review them?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. April 2nd minutes are approved.
I have a couple of other items.
Yeah.
First, formally, introduction and welcome for Selectman Chuck King, who's our representative from the Board of Selectmen.
Excellent. Welcome.
So,
Thank you.
Okay.
thank you for joining.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Hope you get to stick around for a while. They don't throw you somewhere else. And what was it, June they're gonna?
Yeah, at the end of the fiscal year, then they do a
Tell me you wanna stay right here.
and
Good.
yeah, thank you.
Sure. So, expiring terms. 3 of you all have. So you do, right? Kristen.
I did mine, so I
Oh,
was.
you did. Great. Great. And Nikki. Okay.
You have? Okay.
Oh my
great.
goodness. So we're on
okay.
top
I
of
just
things.
want you to check on them all.
Yeah,
They went through, or they have one
yeah,
more
I
sign.
stopped in and they didn't have access at the exact time I was checking yesterday, but yeah, Nikki said she has submitted hers.
Oh,
And,
hello.
Hi.
Actually, mine is an expiring term too.
well, there you go.
It's the finish and the end. I mean, the beginning and the end, but no.
The Alpha and the
I
Omega.
guess technically I would be an expiring term.
Yeah, yeah, so, yeah, then I guess at the July meeting, you could ask the Board of Selectmen.
So I've had it. I've had enough. No, okay.
Enough.
I don't know anything yet. I'm eager to learn.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you for reapplying,
Yep.
and yeah, we'll see how it all goes.
Okay. Home buyer assistance grant program. Any update?
Yeah, so as folks may know, for our new members or for folks at home, the Easton Affordable Housing Trust has a home buyer assistance grant program for income and asset qualified first-time home buyers to buy a market rate house or condo in Easton, which then becomes restricted affordable. And the grant is 35% of the market rate purchase price up to $95,000, whichever is lower. We have a qualified participant in the program moving forward with the purchase now.
That's great.
We have a signed
Good.
purchase and sale agreement. It's for a $201,000 two-bedroom condo. And our anticipated grant would be 35% of that, $70,350. And the closing is scheduled for June 3rd.
Wow.
Great.
So
It's been hard to find just the right person. right?
exactly so.
That's
but
great.
So we're pretty optimistic. And also adjacently, a unit that we did we provided a substantial grant for in 2016 is now being resold. That buyer is moving out of state.
Okay.
So we're going through the process. And the way that works is the restriction has a provision that the state uses a resale fee to hire a consultant to handle the marketing and lottery and so on. So that is in process.
Great.
So that's the update on
Great.
the program. Yeah, so we've got, knock on wood.
Yeah. When was the last one that we did? Was it in
I think
over a year?
2017.
2017?
Yeah, about a year and a
Yeah.
half, 2 years ago now.
Yeah. Yeah. Great.
Yeah,
Good.
Is that an identifiable asset at this point, the home? It's a definite home at a definite place?
Yes, yeah. It's they have a purchase and sale agreement signed for a condo unit.
Okay.
A two-bedroom condo. Yeah.
Great.
So hopefully it seems to be going reasonably smoothly. So fingers crossed that it'll all go through.
It's great.
But yeah.
Yeah, I
And
didn't
then
realize
the
that.
one that's selling is gonna go through the same lottery process that,
Essentially,
Recently.
yeah.
okay.
Yes, yeah. And it's, I think, like a 90-day, it's a process.
Yeah.
Was this the home buyer that has been? How long would you say? Was it 4 months? How long ago did she or he, I can't remember, up here.
The current one that's,
Yeah,
has a
that's-
signed purchase and
yeah.
sale.
Yeah.
Yeah, the application was, I think, late last year.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, so it
Yeah.
can take a while to
Takes
get
a while.
qualified.
Fine, yeah, right.
But then the longer, part is actually finding
Fine.
a housing unit in decent condition at a price that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I thought that just went with the person, I don't know if it went with the unit, but the unit then became affordable.
Yes, yeah. That is the, like, goal and function of the program. That is what the town of Easton gets for its money. An additional permanently affordable housing unit on the subsidized housing inventory. Yeah.
So this person already went through the lottery process?
There is no lottery process?
There's-
Oh,
So there's two, right? One is the new applicant that's gonna convert a condo into an affordable, and then there's another separate one for that was already affordable that's getting resold.
okay. And that one, that's the one subject to a lottery?
Lottery, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Sure.
Okay, 26 Pequannock. Any update? Easton Housing?
Yeah, we're about to, bring on board a realtor to sell Pequannock. The Housing Authority put out an RFP to local realtors. There were certain requirements, and two actually responded, and I'm pretty sure Kathy's about to award it to, I believe it's going, I don't know if I can say yet, so I won't. But, yeah, and that will start the process of getting it on the market, selling it, and then we'll see where we go from there. Hopefully, we'll be able to purchase something. So 26 Pequannock is a family housing unit that belongs to the Housing Authority. That was in pretty dire straits, and the state was giving us funding to potentially renovate it. But
Yep.
once we got architects and consultants in there, they just were coming up with such outrageous proposals to make that unit habitable.
Yep.
That we finally came to the determination that we were just gonna sell it and take the money and see if we can find something else that's not as bad a shape.
Okay,
And, so I believe the Housing Authority will still get the state HILAC grant program?
That is expected, yes. So the state was giving us $260,
I've got it in, yeah, but
240?
some amount of money.
yes. And then we applied to the Affordable Housing Trust to kind of augment the funds so that we could consider doing what we wanted to do initially, and Affordable Housing Trust granted that additional funding, but now we've changed the plan. But as far as we understand, the trust is still gonna be able to contribute that amount of money so that we have that buying power.
And the trust will need to have a conversation and revote that, since it's a slightly different thing.
Correct.
And the trust is also interested in possibly, and we should have a conversation about this at a subsequent meeting, about if the trust in fact wants to buy 26 Pequannock for affordable housing. But then there's the discussion about what would the purchase price be. There was an appraisal for, I think, 231, something like that. But if it's a competitive, bidding war, how would we navigate that? So we should probably have a conversation as a group at a future meeting if that is something we would want to explore.
is that the only house that's under the purview of the Housing Authority?
There's 3 single-family homes that are under the 705 family program, in addition to the 7 units that are down on Chandler Way, that's family housing. So there's 10 total, but one of them's basically in. The Pequannock house has been vacant for 2 years, basically. We've taken it out of the inventory just because we expected to be putting it through renovations. So we want to get back to at least the 10 that we've had, but right now we're at 9.
Okay. Thanks.
catch up.
No
with my
worries, yeah,
notes.
yeah. Take your time.
And then we have 194 elderly units,
In the housing authority, yeah.
yeah, in Section 8 program.
In the what program?
Section 8,
Okay.
Housing Choice Voucher Program.
Okay, all set. All right, so 300 Foundry Street.
300
Group
Foundry
housing.
Street continues to make slow progress. This
I just
is,
like the word progress.
yep, my emphasis is on slow, but progress is in there.
I was trying to look at the glass half full.
Yes, yes, we're nothing but optimists, that's why we do what we do. So you'll remember this is the town-owned land that, was, we had an RFP process to build 8 bedrooms of affordable housing for, acquired brain injury, individuals living with acquired brain injury. A developer called Global Property was selected in partnership with BAMC, Brockton Area Multi-Services, as the service provider. There would be a substantial grant from the Affordable Housing Trust to help defray construction costs. There's a draft memorandum of agreement for, to lead towards getting the closing documents together, and that's hit several slow spots. Global Property and BAMZ are trying to put together an ownership structure such that it would be a nonprofit ownership rather than Global Property as a for-profit developer owning it, because financially they would like the property to be exempt from local real estate taxes, but under state law you actually have to be a tax exempt owner for that to happen, so they're trying to figure out an ownership structure that works for both of them to make that happen. And BAMC is much more intensely involved in the conversation now, and so their attorney is working with Global Property and also with Town Council on that, and also the terms of the $350,000 grant, and how that relates to mortgage financing from their bank, because being CPA money, there has to be a restriction that comes with it. And so how does the restriction work with a mortgage from a bank? Because it has to survive foreclosure. So there's a lot of paperwork for them to work out. And it's been slower than we may have hoped, but there is progress.
It's positive that BAMC is
Yes.
in the picture, because that was not the case last month. When
Yeah.
we were here? We
Yeah.
didn't really,
Yeah.
Okay.
So my understanding is BAMC is much more involved in conversations, which I think is a constructive development.
So any guess estimates as
No.
to when they might work any of this
No.
through?
No.
That's a no.
Yeah, hopefully sooner rather than later. There's a construction season happening,
Right.
and they also have a whole permitting process to go through. So,
Did you mention CPA funding?
yes. Part of this is a substantial grant from the Affordable Housing Trust,
Mm-hmm.
and that grant is CPA money.
Oh,
Yeah,
the area in which it fits in the CPA would be affordable housing.
yeah, and we already have the funds in the Affordable Housing Trust account.
Yep.
But as CPA funds, state law requires, there are certain requirements to CPA funds, and and you also have to have an affordability restriction.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then that has implications for the bank.
Yeah,
So,
thank you.
I'm still getting over a very stubborn cold, I apologize. I promise I'm not contagious.
no worries.
Yes, you have
I'm
small
probably
children,
more
yeah.
contagious than you. Okay, so 10 Electric Ave, the Habitat for Humanity project.
Yeah, so folks may remember these were 2 town-owned parcels. One of them went through the tax title process for the town to assume ownership, and then there was a disposition from the town for affordable housing. South Shore Habitat was the bidder. I am so sorry. They took ownership of the property in March, and I had a good conversation with them earlier this week, and Habitat has begun marketing at the beginning of April, and they've stepped up their advertising following school vacation week, and they have been receiving applications.
Cool.
Yeah, so there's going to be an information session locally at the end of May. The date and location to be determined. I don't know when or where that will be. The application deadline is June 27, so more application information can be found on South Shore Habitat's website, of course. They're currently getting quotes for tree work and site work and the foundation work, and the more volunteer-intensive portion, you know, the sort of hammers and nails, likely more in fall. So folks who would like to be more hands-on involved, volunteer opportunities would probably be more in fall.
Okay.
So that is
Great.
the update from Electric Ave.
Great. Okay, and 3 Eisenhower Drive.
All right, so 3 Eisenhower Drive is the market rate single-family house that the trust bought last year. Did some substantial renovations to, and is selling at a low price as a restricted affordable house to an income and asset qualified buyer. We had the open house April 13th, which was extremely well attended. The applications are due on Monday, May 6th. The lottery is May 22nd. As of the April 13th open house, we had 5 applications that were complete from eligible applicants, 2 of whom were Easton families, folks living in Easton currently. I had a phone conversation earlier this week, and so far we've received 7 applications. I don't know where the other 2 are
great.
from, but yeah, so we've got 7 applications. The lead abatement certification is pending from the state. There was the smell of gas towards the end of the open house, so that was an entertaining process of calling Columbia Gas and having them come out, and they capped off the gas line to the stove. The stove is broken, so we need a new stove. So that's going to be a bit of a process. So, you know,
Is that the same thing, calling a few different,
Right,
is it different for an appliance?
You know, it's going to be $1,000 or less. I think we can just use sound business practices.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that is going to be.
Okay, so
and-
that
and
part's easier, I
Nikki
guess.
has made some calls. I believe we've identified a plumber who can do the install.
Right.
So we're probably gonna like buy something for, you know, 500-ish from Lowe's, and you know, the
Yep.
plumber for 500 to install. But we have to figure out the dimensions of the stove so we can buy it from Lowe's, and then you have
Yep.
to have the plumber come out to actually disconnect it, and then Lowe's delivers and theoretically takes away the old stove, and then the plumber comes back and installs it.
Yep.
And we should probably get the cleaner in again because the open house was on a very wet day, so it's
That's right.
wow, it needs it. And having pulled out the stove,
Oh,
wow.
Well, that would probably be true for all of us.
Yeah, it's yeah.
But yes.
So we would want to address that.
Okay.
And there may be a few more outstanding handyman items, but the large ones have been done.
Right.
There may be a few add-ons for some leaky faucets and such.
What's the total thus far of what we have?
Exactly. I don't know.
Yeah, just kind of guess at.
Probably 2 to 250. Maybe, you know, at the end of it all.
No, I mean,
Well,
just what we've done for.
Renovations.
For renovations, yeah, I don't know. It's
So I thought we were around 35.
I would say higher. And I've got sort of notes here, and one of the things I would like us to do at the end of this process is have, because this is a pilot program, and I'd like us to then get the accounting and sort of reevaluate, you know, okay, this is what it looked like.
Right.
What worked
Right.
good.
Financially, does it make sense?
What were their pros and cons and that
Pros
kind
and
of thing?
cons, are there ways to do it faster, are there ways to do it cheaper? Chris Ann put together a really helpful memo about the marketing and lottery process and ways to improve it, make the application process longer,
Yep.
have more local meetings for applicants to come and get feedback, a more intensive local advertising and
Yep.
outreach.
Yep.
So I'd
Those
like
are
us to-
definites, yeah.
yeah, so I'd like us to sort of have a sort of omnibus debrief, probably in July or August or something. It's like, all right, how much did this actually cost?
Right.
You know, another thing is I think we need to be much more aggressive and focused on the inspection and
Mhm.
understanding the likely costs of things actually,
Mm-hmm.
you know, both monetarily and in time,
Right,
Time.
right, the time.
because it's,
The problem
Endless.
falls is that you can't
Yeah.
get that inspection in before you're making, you know,
Yeah.
serious offers.
yeah,
In
but,
this market,
In this
on
market, yeah.
anything that's that price.
yeah, which is fair, but I would very much appreciate if we had more knowledgeable people, you know, kicking the tires and looking at it. Cause, you know, folks were going to help but couldn't make it and so on, and so it's basically like, you know, me going, I don't know, how much would that cost? So yeah, I think there are sort of ways that, should we choose to do it again, that we would
Mhm.
want to
Improve
tighten it and improve
efficiency.
it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is that pilot process strictly applicable to what, 3 Eisenhower Drive?
It is. 3 Eisenhower is a pilot program for the trust. We bought a market rate house as the trust.
Yep.
And are selling it to a qualified buyer at a restricted low price as a permanently affordable housing unit.
Yep.
So the question for the trust is, how much did that actually cost us at the end of the day? You know, what was the net expense?
Yep.
And, you know, are there things we could have improved? It was a fairly pricey project in that it needed more work than we had first thought, which was more expensive than we had estimated. We're not massively off, but
In the real scheme of things, wasn't that much that we put into it.
maybe not.
I mean, yeah, we had to
but-
do things.
But this is where that conversation comes in.
Yeah, exactly so.
Yeah.
You know, so we bought it
Mhm.
for X, we sell it for Y, we spent Z on, and
Mhm.
then there's the carrying costs,
Yeah.
you know, there's utility, there's insurance. We're probably going to have to extend for another 6 months to insure it for $3,400. We would get about half of that back prorated.
I was gonna
for-
say,
for
they
the
must
months we don't-
prorate it, right? Yeah.
But
So-
about half of that is just, you know, they keep that and they don't do it month by month. And the likely closing date, you know, assuming everything falls into place and, you know, the buyer is qualified and we get all the paperwork done quickly, is probably early August for the closing,
Mhm.
and our insurance is through the end of July.
Right, so it's like,
So, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's another thing.
I'm blanking on the price. What did we?
About
we were at
3,400 for a
Is
six.
what we, that's what we bought. Oh, no,
Oh,
no,
what we
the
bought it
insurance, I'm
for?
sorry, the price, yeah, we bought it for,
I think like
330.
323.
Yeah,
Yeah.
330, yeah, under 330.
okay, and it's going for, it's like
160.
160, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
And we're pricing it low, both so that people can in fact afford it, and it still does need some work, mostly cosmetic at this point. And ownership, affordable ownership units don't sell quickly. Even brand new affordable units in a 40B subdivision sit. So we could legally have sold it for more, but you know, if you're spending $220 on a brand new house or $220 on this, you know what, and they're just not selling. So
Right.
so that's the decision we made. So this is all part of a
Right.
conversation for
Right.
us to have.
Yeah.
But that is the update.
Was there any feedback on the open house, like the impression, anything like that?
People really liked it. A family, a single family house in Easton at that price got a ton of interest.
It's a miracle.
Yeah, we got a lot of
right?
people, and you know, a lot of it is educating interested folks. A lot of folks who are really interested in the investment opportunity to buy it and rent it. So
You
no.
kind of were able to,
Yeah, it's like
Answer
okay,
that
so
pretty
there's
quick.
a whole lot of like,
Yeah.
we need to have conversations about what's really going on. A lot of folks who are just flat out not qualified. You know, they just can't get the mortgage that you would need. But yeah, there was a lot of interest. So
and 7 completed applications.
Yes,
It's great.
yes.
It's
Yeah.
great.
It is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, do we have a sense as to how many you would expect at a,
Um,
Did she- she said anything?
yeah, the consultant said she was amazed
Oh,
that
okay.
there was that
It
many
would be
people.
kind of
Right.
interesting
Yeah.
to see if we could find out from towns of similar
mm,
size and demographics and
Mm.
ever like had a single family home,
was
Yeah.
it Norton?
and like how many applicants
Norfolk,
they,
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Norfolk
Yeah.
has
because
one.
I wondered if it would just be like 3.
Yeah,
Yeah,
7 completed. So I mean, there might have been more that kind of went through some of the steps and couldn't get everything or
Right.
didn't quite qualify but thought they might.
yeah,
That-
yeah.
I don't know, first time ever doing it.
Yeah, and I also
And that
think
sounds
there's
pretty
a lot of
positive.
people that don't even understand that it's
Oh,
out
of course,
there, that
of
it's
course.
there, how to go about
Oh
it.
yeah, and that's where that
Yeah,
you know
there
more
was a-
advertising and so forth could help. But no,
I mean, because when you think about it, the info session downstairs, it was us.
Right.
And two,
it was only 2 at that point.
Yeah.
That's why I'm thinking like, okay, 7. Like,
yeah, 7 isn't
doesn't sound
bad.
too
I was-
bad for a first
And both
time
of whom
here in
submitted
Easton.
complete, eligible applications.
Right.
Good,
So, yeah.
because I know one of the gentlemen was an Easton employee,
Yeah.
Yep.
which,
Who and he wouldn't have had any idea if that flyer wasn't handed to him.
that
The-
is exactly.
You know, like the
Yeah.
what you put up. What you, not you, but
Mhm.
you know you.
Yeah. Yeah, so.
So it definitely, when we have that conversation, I think that would be a big part of it if we do go forward with.
Yeah.
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 But still, I mean, but still great to reach the people we did potentially
Yeah.
reach.
It's
pretty- pretty exciting, yeah.
Going to be.
It's pretty,
Yeah, the open
Pretty
house was
cool.
a mob scene.
yeah.
was it?
Well, it's interesting to hear you say about
Yeah.
people like renting, and because I'm
Mm.
wondering like what walks of life did it pull in? That's an
Yeah,
it's
interesting.
all sorts of folks.
Yep.
And actually, and honestly, the majority of folks were like legitimate, income
Appropriate,
qualified,
yeah.
appropriate folks who
Yep.
got it.
Yep.
So it was all pretty encouraging. You know, we had a little kid who locked the door.
You know what Stone Forge is? Stone
You know,
Forge
so we
right,
had someone
right
break
the next
into
street
it,
over.
Bobby,
Okay, yeah.
like literally a hairpin.
Is
I-
it the gas
Vaguely
issue?
familiar,
Oh my
You know,
gosh.
and
See it
so it's
from
like,
the road.
Yeah, you
Come
can
on.
see
Yeah.
it.
I know that trick
First
from
house
my own
on the right
house.
when you turn down the street,
Right.
the yellow ranch.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, it's got a carport.
I drive out that way every day. that
We put a
morning.
new roof on it.
Yes,
we
you should
put
swing
new
by and
windows.
see it. It's,
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
it gives a cute picture of.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just going to be fun to see it happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
See it happen.
Oh my God, little face. It's okay.
And that's an interesting area in light of Queesit, and we're
Yeah.
trying to develop there. You can get the water line, the sewer there.
Yeah, and it's got it.
That would be nice if it finally got on, if it got on sewer and they didn't have to deal with septic, but
But then
I don't know how they're gonna, yeah.
And capacity. You know, septic capacity. So. Or sewer capacity.
It's hard to know because, you know, hindsight's 20/20, but remember the one we were looking at with, it was a short sale.
They begin with the D.
I don't remember,
You know,
yeah.
like Donnelly or
And
something.
you just don't know,
Yeah.
that could still be, we could still, you know, be looking to close on something like that, so,
Yeah.
you know, well,
It did
We
move
can-
initially, it went fast, and then we kind
and
of.
on this, yeah, this one it did,
Yeah.
right, so, yeah,
Yeah, so it's a learning experience for all of
it
us.
is, yeah,
It's true.
Yeah.
I'm still happy as a clam that we are putting a family in a house.
yeah. It's,
Yep.
In a
That's
neighborhood
what I
with a
mean.
yard.
I think that's
Yeah.
it's exciting. The
It's
picture
nice,
of it.
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
So, and then what else?
good, action items,
Yeah, I guess
for the month?
same old, really. I
okay,
don't think there's anything specific. There is one action item for people. Town meeting is Monday, May
Ah,
20th
yeah,
at
that's
7.
It's a big action item.
Everybody come, please.
It will be interesting.
They're never dull.
As it always is.
So thank you all for your service. And we got 6 home buyer assistance grant inquiries in April,
Mm.
none of which went anywhere, but you know, we had a lot of phone calls.
6 is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a good number.
Yeah, it's about what we get each month.
What are we asking for from CPC?
200,
Just 200.
200,000.
We should have went bigger.
Mm.
Yeah. So,
Next year.
yeah, we'll see how you know, the CPA program changes between this year and next. So,
You're envisioning changes?
Why, what does that mean? Are there
The
things
CPC
coming
is
down?
having conversations about, less money from the state
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
and, overextended, locally.
They're getting a ton of applications.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of
Mm.
applications now they can't actually afford
Yeah.
to
And
keep
the
funding
state's
them.
contribution has decreased every year.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they're, and they're contemplating being much tighter,
Yeah.
Familiar themes.
yeah, which is understandable, so,
But there's legislation going on that's
yeah.
potentially gonna change some of the CPA,
Yeah.
acts.
We'll
and-
see, it's all,
Mm.
it's all in motion, but.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so our next meeting, Thursday, June 6th. Everybody good on
Works
that?
for everybody, I think that's the
6:30?
right date, is this right?
Starts to get to be such a busy time of year that I'm pretty. Oh, you know what? No, I think that's a later. I think that's the week of the 18th. Okay.
That should be fine.
I'll let you know. I should have brought more information on my calendar, but I feel like school year kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I know like the next week and the week after that are definitely a no. So I'll take a look at the 6th, just
It's the 6th or nothing.
just to give you a heads up as far as quorum goes. If
I actually already know that I'm busy that evening, so I probably won't be here.
So, yes, no? No, that's a
No.
no for you, okay.
Should be fine for me.
Should be fine for me too.
I'm good.
and I'll check when I go home.
Will we hear about the lottery, or how does that work? Oh, it's here.
It's
so-
here,
here.
but,
It's the
yeah.
22nd.
but she doesn't really remember her spiel.
Yeah,
She doesn't really say anything
yeah,
until the
it's-
next day. So
She has to go back and, yeah.
and make sure that they're actually
will
still
you
fully qualified. I will.
disseminate some information to us on the 23rd
Yeah.
when you have it?
I
It's
am.
a Sunday, actually.
The 22nd?
No, it's a Thursday
Oh,
night.
in June, sorry.
So I think on that Friday, at some point, you would
Yeah.
probably know for sure who it was, Wayne,
Yeah,
and
so
you
it-
can
it-
tell
it-
us.
Wednesday, the 22nd's a Wednesday, so yeah.
Oh, okay, so Thursday or Friday. Anyway, we'll obviously be
Interested.
interested to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to, see the picking, but I have a middle school information night for my son, so I won't be here.
Yeah.
But it sounded like she wouldn't give a definitive
Right,
Mm-hmm.
I had it
answer
down
to
as
anyway anyway that night.
yeah,
6 o'clock.
it is, and in the Corona room downstairs. Wednesday, the
But-
22nd.
It's be like 5
Kind
minutes,
of-
she said.
It's so
Yeah.
quick, but it would be an interesting thing to see.
Yeah, I've been to several of them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
And then we also don't wanna be, none of it is secret, of course, but we don't be like overly publicizing the individual's identities and so
Right.
on.
right,
It's-
right,
You wanna be a little respectful of
Discreet,
people's
yeah.
privacy,
right.
right.
Again,
Again, none of it's secret, but,
no, but yeah,
um,
more focusing on the fact that we were successful,
right, yeah.
not on the
Yeah.
yes.
Well, we are gonna have a big picture taking when they actually move in. We're all gonna be on the front lawn handing over the key.
Only if they're into that. They may not be into that.
Yeah,
Would-
but
Which
We
property
might
is
do
that we're
something.
talking about?
Eisenhower.
Eisenhower.
Oh, okay.
We might have to do something.
Yeah, we can think of ways to,
Gotta get the word out there.
yep, yeah.
At 10 Electric, were there two houses on Electric? Because I was a selectman
There's another
ending
habitat
in
at the end of it.
2010, and I know that I went there with Habitat there, and that had to be 2010, 9/8.
There is
Um,
another one, right?
There's another
Yeah,
Habitat
yeah.
house, which is, I think, much older than that, at the
That's
end
over in
of.
Baldwin.
There's, I think, 4. There's one on Baldwin, there's one on Highland, that we worked on.
Mm-hmm.
The trust
I
worked
remember,
on that
yeah.
one.
Yeah, I know where that is.
This one on Electric and another one at the end of Electric.
Yeah.
That I think is 20 years ago now. So it's older than 2010, I think. But,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't 9 years ago, because it took a long time for this one to get out of, it was in tax
It
title
was
for a very long
Oh,
time.
it was
part
so
of the
I don't think it
process.
was
I
9,
can't say
yeah.
whether it was the beginning, the
It
end.
might have been. I don't know. It
Yeah,
was a long
yeah,
process.
2010 might have been,
A little early, but.
yeah, the Long Island, but yeah.
Okay.
We're working on it. That's cool.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
yeah, good.
7:10, motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, second. All in favor?
Okay.
Okay,
guys.
thank you.